we all good?
Yeah.
Right. Oh, it was actually Thomas just left the session. Evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a different stream today. We're here for SRL round at number 17 here for the USA Grand Prix. We should mention that we have just lost our championship. It was actually mentioned last time out, apparently, so I've been told. My name is F1 of NutHead, aka Jack, and joining me in the commentary box, I should mention, is the man, the myth, the legend, Kahmundo.
Hello guys. Awesome to be back again. And have you on board? NutHead? Otherwise I would be alone once again. But luckily you saved the evening. So yeah, we're around USA tonight for what should be a really good race, even though the championship is already decided, which it was last week with Thomas winning quite dominantly. But yeah, I'm looking forward to tonight and see what kind of excitements and surprises we can have for this week.
Yeah, of course, as you did mention, the championship is over, of course. Congratulations, Thomas, as we did say, for grabbing that last week. As Edge got very lucky. First laps are coming in, by the way. Anthony Bacon sets a 32.4. Okay lap for him. That's a good start. I'm having a look, see who's near the end of the lap as we get towards sort of the end of the quality. But yeah, we should quickly mention, of course, championship was wrapped up last time out, even though the top two didn't, one of them didn't start and the other one didn't finish. So mathematically, the championship was handed over. But the battles behind are not looking anywhere near as fierce. We've got 9 points between Bosley and Tierlo, the McLaren and Red Bull. So that is a close battle to keep an eye out on the battle for that last spot on the championship podium. More laps have been posted. Toro Rosso is currently 1-2. Case it's a 33.2. Comfort Danny Jack in the Williams comes with a 34.6. Vapid Coupe, meanwhile, just splitting him and Tierlo. P4 for Vapid first lap, 34.7. Tierlo so far on a 35 dead. Not a too bad lap for him. Ninjas has just come up as well with 34.4. Not bad lap times at all to start off the session of so far. Julian 35.4. Unless your name is Anfield Cop, 51.4. That is quite a sensationally slow lap.
Yeah, I must say I hope Anfield Cup can at least improve that a bit better at the end of this session. But yeah, now let's actually talk about the track. What kind of experience do you have with Coda? What can be challenging and etc.
Well, I think particularly, I like to quote this myself, as actually we just got a Red Bull come for it of Newbury's. The Maggots and Beckett's copyright, I find that extremely slippery. That's what I have to call it, because, well, I mean, it's definitely is. When you get to sort of looking more towards the race, corner cutting's obviously a big issue around here. Penultimate corner can punish your entrance and exit. Of course, the Maggots and Beckett section can. It'll be all about the guys keeping their focuses, definitely with regards to corner cutting as well. As back end is actually W35, I'm going to call him that. It's just set at 34.5.
Yeah, we call them Wessels, so let's do that.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll just call him that. Sounds a lot easier anyway. Williams and Comfort Jack just set at 34.2, but that sounds put down to P4 because John's, I'm just going to call him John, is set at 34 dead in the Force India, so good first lap time for him. First time's coming in so far, not looking too bad at all. A lot of people planning to set 2 laps though.
Yeah, I must say, LK91 is continuing his streak from last week. Made his debut last week. I'm not sure if he's actually full-time now, but yeah, he's been really good up there with the top guys. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see if he can challenge the win. And possibly Thomas if he joins back, I'm not sure. I hope he comes back. But yeah, LK is the surprise so far for the end of this Season 5. And potentially be someone to look out for Season 6 if he signs up for that. Really, his potential is looking really good and promising.
Yeah, I mean, when he's 8 attempts quicker than anyone else so far, that is quite incredible. Actually, big gap. Obviously, in real life terms, you think of 8 attempts a second, that's nothing. In Formula One, that is a humongous gap he's got over the rest of the field. Of course, it is very close as well. Only 500 separating Johns and Beacon, so can't lie about them two looking very close. And then the midfield looking extremely close. Jack running on 34.3. Then you got Ninjas on a 34.4, and then you got Whistle on 34.5. Bosley on 34.6. So pretty much all looking up in temps from about 4th to 8th, very close. And then Tillo's just now on his way back out in the McLaren, maybe going for 2 laps on his last one. A bit of a different strategy. We're not sure what the race is like in terms of the weather. And we have actually got our championship holder. I believe he's on a lap. So we might want to keep an eye on him, the man in the Ferrari. And as we did mention, wrapped up the championship last time out at, I believe it was Malaysia. No, not Malaysia.
Japan. Yeah.
Malaysia. Japan. That's it. Can't remember my tracks very well.
Well, yeah, that was quite an unusual way to win the championship by not even attending, but sometimes that's how it goes, and it was looking quite unbeatable, this streak and consistency and the amount of wins. So yeah, I think Thomas will hope to continue his form, at least this end of the season, and obviously also for next season. But yeah, there we go. Thomas sets the pace there with a 33 flat, 2 cents faster than LK, who's on an outlap now. So it's looking really good for Thomas at the moment. Luckily joined back for the session.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's a great first lap for him to set there, and obviously proving why he is the championship holder, and going to go into the final stage of the championship with it all wrapped up in a nice shining bow. Of course, you can't lie, his consistency's been good. His lowest finish when he's actually finished is 4th. That is quite some form. Actually, he has actually retired, so he's clearly happy with that lap and has decided, right, let's see what these guys have got in their lockers. Kay, particularly, as you did mention, looking very strong. Only 2 tenths off him.
Yeah,
and
I think
a whole second off him is John.
We need to follow LK now, but he's going on his main lap, pretty sure, and looks like the guy who can beat Thomas for this quality session. So let's see. No, did he left off? Did he left off?
Yeah, he's just lifted off heavily into turn.
Maybe doing another outlap.
Maybe he didn't quite get the temperature he wanted.
Yes, it's quite interesting.
Yeah, but we'll take his word for it. I'm sure he's got something up his sleeve. As who have we actually got on laps? We did have Shimmer Heskey, but I did actually see that he corner cut in sector 2. So most people are sort of setting that, maybe potentially going for 2 laps. The tyre is not too much of an issue around here. So you would feel people maybe want to get 2 fine laps out on the same set. But of course, still want to make sure they do keep that slight maintaining the tyres, so they don't have too much tyre wear issues as the race goes on, as they get near towards them first stops. But I believe we might have his Vapid come onto the line. That's the question. I love doing this because I can never tell who is. No, he's not. That's the one thing I can never like, is tell them who's on the lap and who's not.
Looks like he's coming into turn 1. Isn't he?
Yeah, I went on board with him coming through the last corner, so I think maybe he was. But
it's coming through sector 1 now. It's looking quite competitive. Yeah, no, I was just going to say the McLaren of he didn't actually improve on position, but he has set a 34.7, so now we're only 300ths off of Vapid. So got that a little bit closer, and if he finds a bit more time on this lap, he could be right up there. I mean, if he only finds, 4 tenths, he finds himself all the way up near the front in 5th, so it's not as if to say a little improvement will go a long way, because people still got set the last crucial laps. We should mention Anfield Cop did improve. He got that time down from 51, he's now set at 36. So can he get into them 35s and 34s to catch up with the rest of the field? We will go on board with, who we got, Nick Winston. And big crash there, first on Ninjas in the second sector. I just went quickly on board now, had a huge crash into the wall. Whether he made a mistake there or what, we're not too sure. But that is him out. Anfield Cop was also retired. Beacon's also retired. I've set a 33.3. We should mention that. He's got the P3. John Zalok had a huge mistake there in sector 3. So that's going to be him done for qualifying. He's not going to have time to set another lap. So a lot of guys struggling on these last laps. Company Jack has just managed to be the last man to get a lap started. Everyone else is now on their last 5 laps. Vapid Coop in P9 comes along with him. So it's a 34.6, himself a P8 for the time being. Not a too bad lap from him, but of course people still have got their last times to come in
Looks like Tia is not going to find him any more time, and he is going to come home for what looks like, for the time being, P10. He wants someone to beat him, so he gets them choice of 5 tires.
Kenny Jack is really improving now on his first sector, 2/10 up, so I think he might be able to jump John Solnica in P4 if he can just nail this lap. So coming through this back straight, very long straight on this track. Now in sector 2. Just braking before the 100-meter board. Now coming into this tight and twisty last sector that managed to pull out some amazing battles last season as well for the top division. I still remember that when I was driving. That was just intense. But anyways, I believe that this section is very much easier on this year's game and this year's cars. You can nearly take it flat on those ultra soft tires and better grip. What have we got in for the final corner? Will it be more for Jack? Indeed it will. P4 for the Williams driver there.
Yeah, good luck from him though. We should also mention the Sabre of Whistle, W3, whatever he is. You know, loads of numbers. He came over 34.2 and actually managed to improve. He did actually jump, came back, but of course then Jack did manage to find more time. And it looks like we're at the end of quali, and well, a dominant front force, and then there's just this massive rift to everyone else, but that's not too bad indeed as we run through the grid. So it is Thomas, our championship winner, really, grabs the pole position, proving why he is our championship holder at the end of this qualifying. Followed closely though, only about 1.5 tenths behind him by K. Then comes Beacon, just about a tenth behind him, very close there, 2 tenths in the top 3. Then comes Kung Fu Kenny Jack, John's alike. I can't even go through this quickly. Whistle, SRL Ninjas, Sumo Hesky, Vapaku, Bosley, Tia Leo, Julian, the Magic Yeti, didn't keep an eye on him, 13th, 14th for SRL Rampage, Adam Lee, and then the Scottish guy at the bottom. I didn't see who that was, unfortunately I missed that.
It was Snake Cruise, I believe, in the Red Bull. Not good for him not setting a lap time. I believe we have a formation lap. Yeah, I was just kick off the pre-race talking by asking who do you think will win on that?
I think I'm going to go different. I'm going to go with K this time. I feel like he was close on the pace. And you consider that he actually set the lap time that he did a bit earlier in the session than Thomas did, and he absolutely blew the rest of the field away. Might have a little bit more time to find, and I reckon as the race goes on, I reckon he might try and undercut. But I'll ask you the same question, Kahmundo. Who do you think is going to grab the race win at the checkered flag?
It's a really tough one. Thomas is obviously a safe pick, you never know. Coming into turn 1, it's such a wide corner information lap. There we go. So yeah, that's a tough one. I'm gonna go with Thomas just to make it a bit more exciting. I think he's he's got that experience for also now representing us in or SL in ULC. So I think he's got that experience to take home the win quite safely. But LK won't be much behind. That's my prediction. But also talking a bit further down the grid, Ninja's Shimal Hesky is looking quite solid, and Teleo, who's P4 in the championship by being consistent and clean, is outside the top 10 positions, so he might be someone to look out for at the later stage of the race.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, I mean, of course, Tia has got the advantage that he's the first guy actually really about the choice of 3 tyres. So he's interested, still got on the ultra softs though, so he's got a fresh set of ultra softs on, so a bit of a different strategy from them. The guys behind him have got 3 choices, often go for the super softs, other than of course Nuclear on the back, he's gone for the softs. So a bit of different strategy choices going on for the guys outside the top 10, but Tia fancying the gamble the ultras.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. Maybe he sees that it's just better going for ultras because of the low tire wear. You can't blame him for that. At least I wouldn't do so. Pit window might be around lap 10, or well, we'll see. But that could also play some favor in undercuts and overcuts. That will be interesting to see. But yeah, to those tuning into the stream, thank you very much. We are beginning round 17 of the Xbox One F2 tier. So Jack, if you want to lead off, lights out.
I will. I'd be more than privileged to. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to round number 17. As we have mentioned, it's time for the 5 lights to go on after the formation lap. Thomas on pole, IK just alongside him, Beacon just that little bit behind. 2 Toro Rossos might work together to get past the Ferrari, but who knows what's going to happen as we get ready for the USA Grand Prix. At this point, I'm quite enjoying this. As we get ready, as we build up towards 5 red lights. USA Grand Prix, round number 7, SRL F2, and it is lights out and away we go. So the first decent start there for Beacon in the second row. Came in on not getting an overly great start, but is still able to get away in the second stage. Meanwhile, in the background, the Williams on the inside, but Kay is looking down the inside, down to break early. Beacon round the outside, now he's on a P2 already. Kay breaking incredibly early, he's actually lost a lot of time there. Out to the back of no, he's got Johns a lot, but he's actually had to back off because he's got the Sauber of Whistle just alongside him. Off the start, though, looks like in the background, Newcrew's had out of the start, he's on a P12. But battling going on in the background, Tier Leo's already on front, on a P6 start down to P11. What on earth has happened there? Bit of yellow flag issues, maybe a bit of an incident. Could have happened a bit further back, we're not too sure. Anyway, Tier Leo and Schumacher side by side them up for P6. Schumacher ends up winning. Come through, Kenny Jackson, might go for him. Vapid round. Vapid is round. Julian,
oh, look at LK. Look at LK.
Shot.
He's defending his P2 position there, so it's interrupt there, but the center B can still P3. Look at Tier Leo making that ground up, already 4 positions up. And as well with Shimal Heskey 2 positions up. Here we go for P2. I think it's Enter Beacon going down the inside of his teammate. This will be crucial. He tries to have a look, and John Sullivan, oh, he runs his teammate wide. There's John Sullivan up to P3 now, Jake.
Yeah, it is. Kate making a pretty big, having a bit of contact there, and I think he's full start wide. And then John was just on hand to take advantage of that. Meanwhile, Tier Leo again down the inside. He's actually made contact there with Magic Getty in a contact in the background. That was a Williams of, I believe that was Kung Fu Kenny Jack. Ended up spinning just before the triple apex round. With a lot of battling going on around the field for the time being. But anyway, as we get towards the end lap 1, and there's still Thomas who fends off nice, and I've got a second lead over Beacon because the 2 Toro Rosso were battling. Kay's meanwhile has got back past John. What on earth has happened there? Whether Kay has managed to pass without making a mistake, or John has made some sort of mistake, we're not really too sure. But as we scroll further back in the field, there's battling going all on. Drivers not really able to get away from each other in the early stages. Heskey is over the back of Whistle, meanwhile, in the battle for P5. 5 second stop-go paddock for Julian in the C-section pit. Same as a rampage, not really sure. Maybe a bit of damage for them on that one. There was a huge, chaotic battle going on that midfield for like that P6. P7, now Vapi's round again, out of turn 1. That's him having an absolute awful race. That's on the worst 2 laps he could possibly have. Meanwhile, Heskey has just gone down inside of Whistle. He makes slight contact there through the flat out right. I think that's given Whistle some front wing damage. They need to be careful. Heskey now breaking down into the hairpin around the outside. Whistle fends it off though. Will Heskey get the switch back? It looks like he might just about, but instead slots in behind just like he's actually able to do it. So brilliant bit of defending, but Whistle does a front wing damage. I think Whistle now is forced to go defensive, is he? But actually Heskey's going around the inside. Is he on the run down in towards this corner, breaking late? It looks like he's got to move his Heskey. Of course, that front wing damage might be hindering him. He might be able to defend it too much. We're more ninjas. And Magic Yeti go side by side in the Renault and the Ferrari. Down the inside, late breaking move there from Yeti for P8. Brilliant bit of defending there. Now Ninja's getting involved. He's round the outside, going into this really tricky right hand. It's very tough to go tight by side, and they've just about managed it. They're still side by side, but the end, it's actually Adam Lee, sorry, not SRL Ninjas, do apologise. But Adam Lee gets the move done. Actually, just go back to the front. Kay's got back past Beacon. So that is actually a huge scrap going on there, and that's allowed Thomas to get away even more.
It's all kicking off. It's all kicking off at the moment. Look at Thomas, only still 1 second ahead of LK. Look at that battle for the podium positions. John just pressuring the 2. Oh, he's got a bit of end plate damage. Did you see that? I'm not sure how much that is, but that definitely it's not good for the Force India driver. Who's actually pulled a gap from Shimal Heskey, who potentially will catch that unless he also has damage. But it's all kicking off at the moment. The winner so far is Adam Lee, gaining that 7 positions. Look at that. And the losers is probably Wessel, who's had to pit for the soft tires and very early pit stops, same as Webberkurt and Kung Fu Kenny Jack. So really not ideal for those drivers, but it's just heaven for Yeti, Adam Lee, Tier Leo. That's just thinking, yes, we can actually get some solid points tonight by just keeping clean at turn 1 and at the start at least. But yeah, the battle for the podium positions are still on. And Beacon really has the pace tonight. Probably the first time I see him here that much in the front. So yeah, I think Beacon can, if he sticks with LK, he has a really good chance of getting a podium positions tonight, which will be probably his first. I'm not sure if he's got one before this season, but I predict that Heskey will probably catch up to John in a few laps of time.
Yeah, we have actually got a pretty big battle going on. I was just on board throughout the third sector. I should already mention Adam Lee, the Magic Yeti, and SRL Ninjas. Huge battle going on there. Adam Lee and the Magic Yeti basically going side by side throughout pretty much half of sector 3. That was unbelievable racing to witness. But actually, Kay has massively closed up to the back of Thomas. Now only 3 attempts.
Oh.
As now Kay, he is absolutely all over him, and now Thomas has gone slightly defensive there through 2, but in the end doesn't actually have to, because of course Kay taking the outside line, but Kay getting that yes, is very much slow. Whether that seems to be a particular weakness of his or what, we're not too sure. But it seems to be that Kay is all over the back. Seems to have the pace on Thomas for the time being. Our championship winner is under contention here on lap number 4. DRS will be finally. Someone will have DRS.
Oh, look at the background. Look at the background.
Oh yeah,
with,
down the inside on John. He's got the move. It's him on the P4. Of course, John got that front wing damage, but it looks like he's got the better X out of the hairpin, so John might actually come back at him. And yes, he is. Shimon Heskey going defensive. Round the outside of force injuries to go. Is he going to get the move done? It looks like he isn't late braking. Of course, John does not have the advantage with that front wing, so that's going to cost him a little bit. And it looks like in the end, Heskey's able to fend it off. Now he's got to try and get away in these downforce sections to make sure that he just extends that gap. And judging by it, he could be right on the back of Beacon in a few laps, so keep an eye on that in the battle for what will be P3. As we look a bit further back, the battles are still continuing on. It's just insane, this league so far. But you cannot write stuff like this.
No, indeed you can't, but LK is really putting the pressure on Thomas. They were quite close together in quali, and it seems like that LK might have the advantage in the race. We don't know, but John Solnik actually pits now, decided that the front wing damage was too much, so he'll possibly go for a harder compound towards the end of the race, but need to follow LK and Thomas for the lead. Might actually be interesting to see where he gained, because he's looking pretty strong at sector 1. Just look how much he's being more smoother and gaining more than Thomas. Might have a look here, or just waiting for the DS flap that will open for this back straight jack.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to be a particular strength to his case, that first sector. He seems to just keep right up with him. And actually, come through Kenny Jacks on the wets.
I don't hope so.
Yeah, well, it says, I've just gone to tyres, but Kay is round the outside here in the second DRS straight, braking later to the move. No, it looks like Thomas having to sort of squeeze him out, but he's going to stick his nose in there, in towards his right, a braking lane. So it looks like Kay's got the move, he's got the better entrance and exit speed there. So it looks like Kay's actually got the move up there for the lead. Thomas not going to let go though that easy. He did sort of peek his nose inside there, maybe spook Kay out a bit, but it looks like instead Kay reacting well and actually able to gain the lead there. So Kay showing that he's got the pace there, up into the lead of this race. And Thomas looking like a man who seems to be struggling a little bit, but he's still got the advantage of the DRS in order to turn one, gets a bit of oversteer out of the penultimate corner, but gets away with it fine. Round the final corner they come out to begin at lap number 6, and it just doesn't look like he's that close enough to be able to get the advantage of DRS. Meanwhile, behind Tilly, oh my goodness me, Tilly has been near the penultimate corner, he's running in 5th. That is a big retirement there. He managed to start 11th, so to be 5th after that many laps is a hell of a start. But meanwhile, the background, Heskey's just got past Beacon, in through turn 1 into turn 2. So one car lost the gains a position, the other one loses one. That is unbelievable scenes as they come through the Magnus and Beckett's B-Tech section now. And Heskey's up in a P3, Beacon down to P4, and Kay crucially back up into the lead. Thomas is down to P2, but he is sticking to the back of Kay. This could be a bit of a psychological warfare, like you did mention, Kahmundo. They've been very close on pace in qualifying, and now it's just shown by this race, but they've got a 2.4 second lead over Heskey. Now will he be able to catch? He could be an underdog in this race, judging by the pace we've seen from him so far.
Heskey's looking really strong here at the end of this first stint. In he's already pulling the gaps at the beacon. I'm not sure if he's had damage or anything, but Shimal Heskey is looking really strong, and might be just behind Thomas and LK, where LK can't actually pull a gap yet. So this may play into Heskey's favor, who's gaining significantly each sector. Also, we have to mention that Yeti is doing a pretty solid job in P5, still under pressure from the two experienced drivers of Adam Lee and Ninjas. So he's doing a really good job on the supers. So he will possibly he'll definitely go for a bit longer stint than the ultra guys, as he actually gets a penalty. But still doing a decent job there in P5. But pit window is very soon. Oh, what was that? Was that really weird with coming for Kenny Jack? Anyways, the pit window is in a few laps time, so this may play into the guys behind LK for a potential undercut.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a bit of psychological warfare. You know, I mean, you see it sometimes, don't you, with drivers, but they actually shape to go into the pits to force someone else into a pit stop. Those guys came up particularly try and sort of snake one of the guys out by making them make that stop, or sort of trying to psych them out. But it's going to be a bit of psychological warfare as you get towards that first stop, because of course, let's face it, it is a one stop round there, so that one stop that you make has got to be a good one. You've got to time it just right, otherwise you could see yourself with the race over, especially given the fact of the pace of these two so far. But Thomas is closing heavily down towards the braking zone. He does look down the inside, braking later, got the move done, squeezing KO a little bit there, forcing him off onto the curb a little bit. But instead, Thomas has got the lead back, and actually Thomas is actually letting him back through that. Whether that's a sign of respect. Oh, it's actually, that's nice to see in SRL.
Maybe he thought that was maybe a bit too hard. I think it was hard but fair, but maybe Thomas judged it differently. Haven't lost too much time to Heskey though, so it's just reset to ground zero, isn't it? So
yeah, it is. It's always good to see though. Oh, Heskey pit. Heskey making the undercut here. Bit of a different strategy. Heskey fancying to make the stop early. The question is, where will he come out? The last thing he wants to do now is come out in traffic. But it is going to be another set of ultras. That is an unusual strategy, but Heskey has gone on to the ultra. Whether he's now committed himself to try to two-stop. So now he's got to absolutely floor it.
But the gap is like he'll if he just nails his laps, he'll 100% undercut the other guys get in front of. Oh, as Ninjas actually make a mistake on the Ferrari, that's gonna lose him plenty of time. I think he's on one ultras, but Heskey will possibly, like, he definitely wants to be ahead. That's the sign of going to ultras, isn't it? So his plan is probably to pull away from LK and Thomas and potentially catch them by the end of his second pit stop, or after his second pit stop, where he'll gain each lap. So that's a very bold move, or bold strategy he's going for there.
Yeah, I've just actually witnessed the move. Adam Lee's just got past the Magic Yeti, but that was actually quite aggressive. Adam Lee broke extremely late and then sort of shifted to the inside, but Yeti had already turned in. So he kind of hit the back of Yeti. He didn't suffer any damage, but then forced the Yeti into a slight sort of bit of oversteer and just took full advantage and got past. So Adam Lee's up in what is now actually P5, but Thomas is in. The Ferrari options to stop, and Beacon also coming in. So a lot of these guys fancying it, but now this is K's lap to really push. This is when K has got to try and push everything he's got left in them.
But look at Heskey.
Where
will Heskey come out compared to Thomas? That's the real question. He's coming towards the line now, Heskey. Where's Thomas compared to this on the soft tires going to the end? Here we go. Heskey is... Oh, it's going to be very close coming into turn 1. I can't actually see. He just gets in front. Did you see that, Jake? Wow, that was crucial for Heskey.
He timed that to reflection. That was just what he needed. I think Thomas, he did sort of try and shift down the inside, but I think Heskey just had that ultra soft advantage with the pace. But now that he's got ahead of Thomas, he has got to shift now and get away from that man if he's going to do the two-stop. Because, of course, I will admit, the pit stop time around USA is very short. It's not as long as most tracks. But you've still got to push your tyres like mad to make sure you gain that enough time. But he's got 2 better tyres now, but of course Thomas is going on to the DRS. So he's got to get out of that DRS zone. That's going to be the bit that's going to be crucial. But interesting to note, Beacon's also done the sprint track with Heskey and gone on to the Ultra Softs.
There's some there's some traffic ahead with Yeti, so that might play into Heskey's favor as he's on the fresher tires, which means better mechanical grip. So LK, I'm curious to see if he pits this lap. Indeed he does. So this is going to be very interesting to see where it comes out towards the 2 rivals for this race. I would at least say so, with Heskey and Thomas. So let's say coming into the penultimate corner now, not the final corner. Heskey's already right behind Yeti's tail, as he sets the fastest lap on those fresh rubber ultras. Here comes K. He's a long way behind the 2 guys. Just look at that. Or not a long way,
Yeah,
but he's right behind Thomas.
Yeah, well, I mean, I believe the gap was around about 18 seconds as he came into the pits. He's still within touching distance. Of course, this is now starting to return to a bit of a train, but Yeti has crucially been passed by Heskey. So now all he's got is Adam Lee ahead of him, and then he's got clear road, and then he can really start to push. He's just getting out of this traffic. That is one of the crucial things about a 2-stop, is getting out of the traffic before you go anywhere. As Heskey, is he going to look for a late lunge here? He is shifting to the inside, but instead decides against it.
Oh, what about
There's
Thomas?
actually Thomas and Kay have both just passed Magic Yeti. Whether he's made a mistake there or what, we don't know. But Heskey's just got past Adam Lee as well for the lead. So Heskey does now lead, and has now got to just hope that maybe Adam Lee's going to stay. Obviously, Adam Lee's going to stay out a little bit longer. So now it's a matter of how long will Adam Lee stay out, and will he be able to defend against Thomas and Kay? Because of course they're on fresh softs, and Adam Lee's got old supers. But of course now it's Heskey's time to really knuckle down and get away. As also, I should mention the background, Beacon's now found himself on a bit of traffic on his own. He's now got Magic Yeti just ahead of him, so he's got to try and get past him on what he is doing a 2-stop. So he's got quite a lot of catching up to do, as actually he has just got past Yeti. And actually Yeti, I believe, made a mistake there. So whether his tyres are forced him into mistakes or what, we're unsure, but you would imagine that they are getting near to the end of their usable life as we get near to the end of the sort of the pit window for the supers. Thomas is straightening down the inside for P2. He brakes late and looks like Adam Lee is going to defend it too much. You wouldn't expect it. Actually, no, he does go back. Goes back for a switchback there out of turn 1 and gets the move back done. But now Kay is all over the back of Thomas. But instead, Thomas sticking his nose in round the outside. Come on, boys, we can't go side by side for where they do make slight contact. And in the end, Adam Lee defends it off very well. And this is forcing Heskey to get away. He's now got a 3-second lead over Thomas. And this is probably infuriating these two. They want to get past. They want to ding dong on this man's door and get past Adam Lee. He's just picking himself up at 3 seconds time, but he's doing everything he can, whether he's working with Heskey to make sure that he gets the best strategy or what. We don't know whether they're friends or not, or in a party. We are pretty much unaware. But then, meanwhile, Beacon's just behind. Now we've got the 2 Toro Rossos. Potentially going to look to go side by side once again. This time, Adam Lee shooting to the inside as Thomas is forced to the out. But it looks like he's easily got the move done there. What about Kayla? Can he get the move done on the same straight? Here we go now. Beacon, we must shoot to the inside as well. And then Kane does break later and gets the move done. Does he allow his crucial? Beacon also then fancying a very cheeky move there. Down the inside, and that's forced Adam Lee out to P5, and he's got front wing damage. I think Beacon might make contact with him there. And Adam Lee's forced up front wing damage. That's not good at all. That's not going to do him any favour whatsoever. But that means that all 3 of them have now got past. The train continues on forward. But they've lost 3 seconds out to Heskey, and he's on so much more quicker tyres. Can he get away though? Can the man who is our championship, who won the championship, had it wrapped up in a nice shiny bow, sent to him by Amazon? Beacon just picked up 3 seconds. Oh! Spun! Beacon spun in the last corner. He hasn't got any damage. He's done very well there to stop in time to not get damage. But he's now going to actually come out in P5 because Adam Lee's passed him in the pit lane. But now he's got to catch up to John and get past him. So that's not worked out well at all for him. But Kay is all over the back of Thomas, and he could massively influence Heskey's race. Because if he battles Thomas, of course, then they're going to lose contact even more with Heskey, and he's going to get even further away. So Kay sort of needs to make sure he doesn't battle too hard, but at the same time, got to remember that he is in the battle for what is technically the lead. Because Heskey is expected to come in one more time for Super Softs.
Yeah, that was just crazy battling there. do the maths. You mentioned 18 seconds. He needs to pull away at least 12 up to 12, 13 seconds if he wants to have a chance at catching Thomas and LK. As LK makes a move. Here we go down the inside. Oh, he goes a bit wide side by side into this last sector. Oh, they make contact. Now Thomas on the outside line. Here we go. Now it will be inside for the Ferrari of Thomas. And wow, this is insane. Still side by side. Coming to these last few corners of this lap 12. Looks like Thomas will just get ahead of the Toro Rosso, but he's still there. LK still there. But looks like the Ferrari just gets in front of him.
Yeah, incredible racing there between those two. I bet that took nerves of steel to make sure they did that. But K has crucially got the DRS down the straight. Thomas forced him to the inside, almost Schumacher squeeze S, but not as harsh. In towards turn 1 now is K going to have to brake later and get the move done down the inside. It looks like actually Thomas has done brilliant there to swoop round the outside and defend it. That is a brilliant bit of defending from the man in the Ferrari, and Egan surely has now got a 4 tenths gap once again. So after an insane bit of battle, respect to both of them for that. But that means they have lost some more time. They're now 5 seconds behind, so that cost them 2 seconds just one sector. That just shows how much that crucial battling can do. But of course they've got to remember, they can't battle too hard, but they're in the battle for the lead, so surely they're going to want to battle, because they're going to want to call themselves the man who finished on the top step of the podium here in SRL F2. You know, Thomas, of course, wanted to make sure that he shows that he deserved this championship. K, of course, looking to make an impact coming towards the end of Season 5. So, particularly a definite watch out for him. Meanwhile, in the background, John has been caught up by Beacon. Beacon had 2 tenths behind, has got him behind the DRS on the run down in this second DRS straight. I don't expect Beacon to go for a move, but given what we saw earlier, what he tried on Adam Lee, whether he's going to try something like that again, he is not. Instead, this time, thinking a bit better of it. But definitely about to keep an eye on, because of course Beacon is only on the biggest of the ultra softs and John is on the soft, so definitely a battle to keep your eye out for there. As Heskey now is 5.3 seconds clear as they're about to begin lap number 14, so nearly hitting the halfway stage of this race. And if you're thinking about turning off for the second half of the race, I wouldn't, because if the first half's anything, if we've got anything like the first half, we are in for an absolute treat.
Yeah, I must say that Heskey is looking really good. Oh, and Beacon losing it a bit at the last corner. That's going to help him getting in front of John Selnick in his lap exit. So he needs to push another few laps. And still on those ultras. Has he even pitted? I wonder. Yes, he has pitted. And
yeah, he's gone for 2 stops, similar to.
Yeah, he's doing. Oh, LK has got a penalty. Good for the Toro Rosso driver who's putting the pressure on Thomas, so we hope that the Ferrari driver does the same thing. But Jan Beacon going for a similar strategy to Heskey. What do you think about that, Jack?
I think that might be a bit unique, as actually K is down the inside of the second DRS straight, we should mention. Side by side yet again. Here they go again. Of course, Case is someone with the DRS and is already side by side before they even got there. Can he get the move done down the inside? Thomas braking later, but then K falls them slightly out to the outside, but then now down the inside. Thomas goes still fending this position off like it is his last. Side by side still in the run down towards this tricky right-hander. Who will get the better advantage? Looks like K gets the better entrance, but of course, crucially, can't get a better exit, but Thomas tonight is able to do it. Slots in behind, so now K is up into what is technically the net race lead. So that is crucial stuff for him. But yeah, going back to strategy talks, you should mention, yeah, 2-stop, an interesting choice, but of course you can't, you know, it's one of the shortest pit lanes on the calendar, so maybe the 2-stop is the way to go. Battle to keep an eye on, actually, is the battle a little bit further back, actually. Magic Yeti, Bosley and Adam Lee, they have been going at it like there's no tomorrow.
Oh, Thomas goes.
Thomas is back down the inside. At turn 1, he's got the move done. That's a brilliant bit about braking, but okay, get the better exit in towards 2. Can he get the move done? No. Thomas forced him down the inside, getting a nice defended there through in towards the Magnus and Beckett section, wrapping it up nicely. But can he still defend now through what we've seen so far as K's stronger point? And it looks like he's actually doing it quite well. It seems to me as if he's quite adapted as the race gone on. When the heavy fuel was on, it seems to me that K was just superior in this first sector. But all of a sudden, it seems to me as if they've sort of got a bit more equal.
Yeah, they are indeed. They are just fighting and losing more time to Heskey. Not gonna help them, is it? They're still continuing as well. Yeah, the guys in the background, as mentioned, for Yate and Lee Bosley. And yet, yeah, struggling a bit. But here we go. LK is his chance again to go down the inside of Thomas yet again. I think this is third time or something in a row. I'm still surprised that they haven't got any end-plate damage. Just keeping clean. This is what we like to see here in SL. Clean, fair, and hard racing. Here we go for LK down the inside now for this corner. He can't quite make it, but that's gonna compromise Thomas' exit a bit. But he'll have to try again for next lap, and seemingly, I don't know if he has lower wings. If not, the DRS section is very powerful at the back straight, so that's definitely helping LK to pressure and make a move on Thomas each lap, because he keeps doing this. The gap is now 7 seconds to Heskey, who will obviously need to pit again for another set of supers, I believe. So yeah, this is looking good for Heskey so far. He's not. I don't think he's complaining at the moment, as LK is right behind Thomas into this first section. He's really, I think, has an advantage in this section. He's just looking to be very much more confident on that section compared to the championship winner. So coming into this straight, surely another move will be made for LK opening up the DRS by playing.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it so many times before, it's like we keep seeing deja vu. We're still back on lap 12 or something. What is going on? Anyway, Kate has got the advantage in DRS. Will he try and sneak a move down the inside? No. This time not fancying it. He didn't quite have enough to go for something there, and even if he did, I'm sure these two have got massive respect for each other after what they've seen so far. So I'm sure that these two are wanting to make sure they don't do anything too silly in this race, and are going for any ridiculous moves. Of course, they have got to keep it careful, because it is now 7 seconds to Heskey. But of course, you have got to mention, at this time, if Heskey was to pit, he's still not got enough to come out ahead of John. If he can come out ahead of John, he could truly get the throttle down, as actually he is pitting. So he will probably come out behind John, and he's got to get past him. Of course, John is going to fancy himself, because there's not many laps to go.
Yeah,
so it's going to be tough.
It's going to be really tough. I wanted to maybe stretch this stint out much more. And he's going to be behind John, obviously, and not behind Antip, so that's in his favor. He's going to be in front of Ninjas, I believe. So only one car between. It's not impossible. It's around a 5.5 second gap, 6 second gap now to the guys in front. So it's not possible.
Yeah, it's not over yet for Heskey. He's just got to now really make sure he gets some consistent laps out. John might have to put himself a 3-second time penalty. He needs to be careful. There's actually, I've got a bit of lag there with Beacon. He's actually gone defensive, because he's actually just come out just behind Yeti. So that's not going to do any favours, of course, in this early stint for his 2 stops. You've got to get past him, and about 5 seconds down the road is Ninja, so it's not going to be easy for him at all. But now this actually does mean that finally this battle between Kay and Thomas is officially for the lead as they start lap number 17. But they've still got to be careful, because of course Heskey is going to start closing them down, as well as of course closing down to John. So he's got to make sure, these two have got to still make sure that they're still sensible about this. But of course, I'm sure as the laps get closer, they're going to stop being sensible, and they're going to think about, well, I could be on the top step of the podium here. What's better for you? You know, would you rather someone be higher than you or at the same level? You know, you want to get that race win. So it's going to be close as they get ready to start lap number 18. But Kay seems to be a bit more. I don't really know. He seems to be struggling a little bit more through the straights now. He gets close, but I don't think he's going for anything too reckless. I think maybe might a few laps of saving, you know, taking the ones of DRS. Maybe just look to get a better tyre wear at the end of the race and put a pump out. But of course, Thomas is the man in the lead. So, of course, with the dirty air in this game, and of course, you know, with the 2017 cars it being very hard to keep with someone's dirty air, that could potentially be a problem. But Kay getting a lot better exit there out of turn 1.
He's a lot stronger in the first sector, isn't he? Sorry to interrupt there, but he gets another another penalty. I think that's pretty much over for his contention of winning this race. And same with Heskey. I don't believe Thomas has any penalties. Just keeping it consistent and clean. LK will. It's very close now, closer than ever, and he'll obviously wait for the long straight, try and get the best exit as possible. That yes, but It's not looking that good towards the end of the race with those two penalties, is it?
No, yeah, it's going to be a tall order for him. Unfortunately for the timing, he is only 5 seconds clear of John, because John does have a 3-second under himself, so he's all right for that for the time being. But as we did mention, of course, earlier on, corner cutting is a massive issue around this track, and Cage is not looking like he's got it. But Thomas, of course, I mean, that's why he's champion. He's been consistent, and he's doing that right now. He's not even picked himself up a single penalty so far. But we still have 10 more laps to run, so it feels like we're getting near the end. But we've still got 10 more laps to go, because this race is going so quick.
Yeah,
so come towards the penultimate corner.
I must admit that I think Thomas is actually enjoying this, like having a driver that you can battle with for the whole race. I think he's been used to just sitting in front and watching all those others bottle it. If I need to say it straightforward, so I think he's actually enjoying having a car that he can compare his times with and battle with, having similar pace. And then there's also Heskey, who's catching ever so much on John Sonigan now. Only 1 second, and I'm sure he'll get under that 1 second window very soon. Very soon.
Yeah, of course. And actually, we just found it interesting to have someone who's a bit Bosley is pitting on lap number 19. Maybe he's going to come with a set of ultras, we're not too sure. Adam Lee did pit as well. He's now on to ultras to the end. He actually interestingly went supers, softs, ultras. So whether he didn't quite like them softs to the end, instead want to get the hammer down, we're not too sure. But interesting strategy a bit further back with some people, trying something different. I suppose when you're at the back, you haven't really got anything to lose, so you might as well try something a bit different. Because actually, Adam Lee and S1 Boston are very close. But actually, Heskey's just got past John there at the end of the second race. Apologies for missing that. But I believe that looked like a fairly easy move. Didn't like John defended that too much. But now Heskey's got a free road to the guys in front. Just over 9 laps to go. And it's 5 seconds. And he's on the better tyres. So can he catch up enough? These two guys have got Vapiku actually, who's left. Is now being lapped. So that is stuff. Actually, now his AI's pitted. So congrats, Vapid. Your AI's in the pits. As Thomas actually went a little bit wide there, but he has got the DRS. He got the DRS from Vapid's AI. So that's done him massive favours. It's actually John's in the pits. That is unusual cool in my opinion, but he is going to go on to the ultras to the end. Now, where will he come out in terms of ninjas? Because this could promote ninjas up in a P4.
I think he'll comfortably be in P4 again, unless something happens with ninjas. He'll be behind ninjas and also under Beacon, but he'll be right behind those cars in a few laps, wanting those fresh ultra subs. So that'll be also something keen to watch, apart from the battle for the battle between Heskey, LK, and Thomas. Yeah,
definitely. That'd be definitely keep an eye on his. Meanwhile, actually, Bosley and Whistle's just actually coming to the pits. I was going to say I think it was Whistle and Bosley, but unfortunately, because he pitted, they said the overtake, and then he didn't get the position. It's a bit confusing as to what goes on there for me. But that now means that it's now going to be a battle between John Beacon and Ninjas for P4. So as it stands, actually, we got to mention 1/4 McLaren Ferrari for the time being. I'm probably going to get murdered for saying that. But yeah, so far, 1st and 4th for the two Ferraris, so going well for them. As well as, of course, we cannot stop mentioning really the two Toro Rosso. I don't know what happens because we're not too sure if K is a reserve, but if he isn't, then of course I believe they do get 2nd and 5th for their constructors team. So that's a decent result. But actually, Thomas went a little bit wide there out of the last corner. K's got the jump on him. He's got the better straight line speed now, down towards turn 1. Will Thomas look for a move? He does sort of shake to the inside a little bit. He's thinking the track make sure K doesn't go for anything stupid. And actually, it looks like he fends it off rather well. But out of turn 1 and towards turn 2 now, it still looks like he's just sort of fending off well as actually Ninjas is popped into pit. So that's kind of the end of that battle there.
Look at that,
John has
just
got past. Yeah, Beacon's just been passed by John there. I believe that maybe with a mistake from Beacon out of the last corner, and then just an easy move for John down the inside. But he has now got 4th, and as long as he can keep it on the track, he needs to get, I believe, a few second gap to Beacon, because I believe Beacon doesn't, if he has penalties, maybe he has 1, and of course John I think has 2. Do correct me if I'm wrong, I'll quickly check.
Yeah, but as Heskey is catching ever so much now with these two guys in front battling. LK is actually helping Heskey to challenge these two guys, which we'll know because LK has those 2 3-second time penalties, so he won't be able to contend even for the podium positions because I think Heskey will jump P2 if he doesn't get another penalty. Still 7 laps to go, so stay tuned guys, we'll have a battle for the lead on track with Heskey slowly, or not slowly, but rapidly catching each lap on these 2 front row drivers. So still a lot of action to go. John Sonica is on those ultra softs, and I just think he'll pull away from Beacon from now on. So it's pretty much just this battle for the lead that's on for the cards at the end of this race.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a decent, consistent race for all 3. You could probably say that all 3 of them really deserve the win, but unfortunately we can only call one of them the man on the top step. But by the looks of things, it looks like they're all going to have the podium because, of course, John is 70 down the road, but does set fastest lap. So well done, 35.6 for him. He'll be happy with that. And probably a P4, decent result for him, and I believe actually will actually get that P4 because him and Beacon both have 6 seconds worth of penalties. So that'll be it wrapped up for them, so long as, of course, John doesn't make any mistakes in the end of this race. Looking back more to the front of the field as they come through this section. Now, Thomas getting a bit of oversteer, but Kay getting onto the curb. There's a bit of mistakes going on as these two, obviously, as their softs do get worn a bit more, it's going to be a bit tough for these two to make sure they're still going as quick as they can, because Heskey is only 1.6 seconds behind. And Kay is starting to lose touch. Thomas ever so slowly. They're still both setting very consistent laps.
Yeah, they're very close together, pace-wisely on this track at least. And I can't wait for next week and see if he races LK and Thomas. If he can challenge Thomas again, that would be great to see, because this has definitely been the reason that this race has been entertaining, at least from my view. And also that Heskey has done this split strategy, because I don't actually think he was on pace if they were on the same tires. So quite smart of him to go to a different strategy, which will actually pay him off here at the end, because look where he is now. He's trapped behind, and he'll that's definitely my drive today at least. He'll most likely get P2 and maybe P1. Let's see, still some laps to go, but anything can happen in these last few laps.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you got to say Heskey has been very much an underdog in this race. Nobody really expected him to be sort of up there, but I mean, look at the qualifying pace. He would have said, yeah, But it is a typical case of brain against brawn. As actually John speaks about a 3-second time penalty, but he has got a big enough gap to Beacon for the time in, so he should be all okay. But now the top 3 are all within DRS range with one another. Heskey has now got that DRS, and now he's going to put in even more to the back of Kay. But Kay is really bad. He's starting to lose the back of Thomas now. It's now 7 tenths. It was 4 last lap. So whether Kay is starting to really struggle, maybe he's pushed a little bit too much on them stopped, we're not too sure. But now Heskey has got his opportunity to get past. First, he's got to get past Kay, and of course Kay, obviously, might not be watching the stream, he might not be aware that Heskey doesn't have any penalties, whereas to his 2. There's actually Ninjas who just got past Yeti in a battle as they continue on for P6. But will Kay defend that much? Because of course, if Kay battles him like tomorrow, Thomas then has an escape road as they begin lap number 24. He's still got him up to DRS. That's the problem. Kay has got DRS, so he's still got that pull away on the straights to sort of still continue to get away from the back of Heskey.
Touches him a bit. I hope that wasn't damage for us there. It looked a bit like it. If it was, it needs to be a light green. But it needs to be now. Oh, he's got another penalty, and that means he's in sync with LK. So they're actually fighting for position now, if I'm correct, Jack. So this Thomas gets. This is really kicking off now. Let's see, coming into right before the back straight, Heskey's on the outside line. LK up to go defensive there. and that's gonna compromise his run now. There are 3 cars going into the back straight. Anything can happen now. Heskey on the slipstream of LK now, going down the inside. Thomas is going AI mode for some reason, but he's back now. Here we go. Heskey down the inside of LK, the Toronto driver. He brakes very good and gets the much better line and grip. Next up for him is Thomas, and this is looking really good for Thomas. No, for Heskey. Thomas defends that, and he overshoots the corner. That's gonna allow Heskey to jump, and that's him up to the lead. He needs to pull a 3-second gap to Thomas, and he's got the net lead and win for this race. Let's see, coming into the end of that 24, Thomas still right behind Heskey. This is all kicking off at the moment. Wow, what a drive by Heskey, just catching Thomas where he was most wanted.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what a move. Actually, now Thomas goes down the inside at turn 1. He is not giving up. He's making sure that he does as much as he can to make sure that he doesn't end up as the race winner. Side-by-side action through turn 2. Heskey fending this in for the better line, but round the outside, down the inside, side-by-side, back to back. They're forced to make contact. Kay is forced out wide a little bit there. He's nestled out of this battle, but Thomas has got the move done through one of the hardest sections of the racetrack. Up to
they make contact.
Contact! Thomas is round. He's out down to P3 and has lost time. Heskey was shifted to the inside, and Heskey's got the lead. Kay's now caught back up to him, but now the ball is in Kay's court. Can he get past Heskey now for the lead? And now Thomas is over 3 seconds behind.
Wow, that move was debatable. I don't know what you think about Jack. That contact looked really weird, but it just looked like Heskey was going for a move where Thomas didn't want him to go for. At least he didn't leave that much space. I don't think he was ready or prepared for Heskey going for such an aggressive move or unusual space. So yeah, I don't know what you think about that, Jack.
I think it was a little bit too aggressive, but I think it was sort of a last-ditch attempt from Heskey. I think he sort of had this gut feeling that, right, it's now or never. He went for a move, and unfortunately I think he's come out worse or whatever. Of course, we'll have to wait to see if there's the stewards inquiry afterwards. Well, I imagine if there was, I think Heskey would probably be punished for it. But we'll have to wait and see at the end of this race. This could make an interesting post-race interview at this rate if we're going to have these two in the same party following that. 3 laps to go in this race. Kay is now he's sticking with Heskey. We don't really know what Heskey's tyre is, whether he's starting to sort of fade away or what, we're not too sure. But of course, Eddie 3-second tyre break from him, and he is actually, at the minute, Kay could be on for the race win. If Heskey can just if he makes a mistake or anything, because Kay is definitely looking like the man in this latter stint as the race comes to an end. As the man who's been stronger to me, he did make contact with, I believe it was Heskey as they came through Magnus and Beckett's section 3, 4,
Yeah, he just
5.
caught up. He got too close to the 2 cars and had to avoid them, so he went wide at the S section at the first sector. So I don't think he has damage. So clever move for LK. Rather lose time than damage, and that's possibly gonna help him for these last 2 laps. And I think it's over for Thomas. I think most likely we'll probably see some sort of steward's inquiry, as I'm quite sure Thomas is not happy about what happened last lap. But if someone is to challenge Heskey right now, for what we're seeing now, it has to be LK, and it's not looking like he's close enough to make that move for the lead just yet.
No, yeah, he's sort of got to keep that consistent. I mean, he is sort of he's just got attempts by that lap. Gap is very much consistent. 2 laps to go, of course, so it is now starting to turn a now or never. But of course, Heskey is probably a man who is shaking like a crapping dog at the moment. He probably cannot believe it for the time being. He's 2 laps away from grabbing the victory, and he's got to try and stick it on the track and not get a corner cut penalty. We've already seen him get 2. The same with Kay. So both these men have proven that they are liable to get it. You know, that's why we were talking about Thomas being the favourite to grab the victory when it was all 3 of them on the same bit of tarmac. Because of course Thomas only had that 3-second time penalty he had to worry about. These 2 had 6, but in the end, at the minute, these 2 are now the favourites because of that contact as actually Heskey's experiencing quite a bit of lag. We might want to have to be careful there. That is definitely something to keep an eye on, because we could see some even more last-minute drama on the penultimate lap. As you could just see all three of them in the shot, and you could just see Thomas, he's slowly starting to deteriorate a little bit now. The gap is almost at 4 seconds now. I think that is a man who's probably given up. Probably going to wait till the stewards' inquiry after this race, which of course is such a shame to see given what we've seen so far between him and Kay. That was incredible stuff, absolute mouth in your heart type stuff early on in the race, but now he's down. Sorry, go on.
No, yeah, I was just about to say, just a bit of lab analysis. LK has, that's what I have noticed at least. He's very strong at the first sector, and then losing quite some time in the last sector. So if he wants to have a go, that's why he's been able to make a move on Thomas every time that makes straight, because he's catched up on that first sector, and he needs to do that now on the last lap if he needs to do so. He's on a half-second gap to Heskey, but look how much he just nails this. He knows just how to manage this first sector, and he's closer than he's ever been. Sorry, I can't speak, but it's now or never for LK. It's now 3:10. He needs to get the best exit possibly, and it gets a bit shaky there, but 70 DRS now. I don't think will be enough. LK needs to be very aggressive if he needs to do so.
Yeah, we should mention that neither of these two have actually really got that much fuel to play with. Heskey just about 0.1 of it. Both actually about 0.1 on their fuel, so not really a lot left for either there. We should mention further back, Julian in the Renault has been disqualified for multiple penalties. So proving that this track is prone to corner cutting, but Kay is the closest as ever been. He's still got sector 3 right this time.
Whoa.
Through the triple apex right hander. He's only a 10th behind. Look at that, he's pretty much almost pushing that Williams through the final few corners now. They can't towards the DRS track. This is where he needs to get a good exit as they begin the final lap of this race. Now Heskey a little bit wrong on the exit. And
wow. Heskey wins the race.
Lap?
Yeah, it was the last lap. I said as well. Wow, 1/10 splitting between first and second. Thomas gets P3. That's professional, by the way. John Sullivan P4. Oh, I think Thomas really got it after that, getting P3. He had running damage as well. That's probably why he lost a bit of time. Ends up being P5. Had really good pace. I think it could have been more, but due to some incidents and possibly a strategy that didn't work out.
We've got drama. I'm sorry to interrupt, but we've got drama. Boston's run out of fuel.
Oh,
and he's only at the triple apex.
Wessel is
Here
gonna.
comes Whistle.
Yeah.
He's gonna pass. What about
Rampage?
That is unbelievable stuff. He might have just gone from P9
No
to P11. Oh.
Yeah, it's gonna take him. Wessel is gonna. No, Rampage is gonna take Wesley for the last point. This is unbelievable.
Oh, heartbreaking stuff to the Red Bull. He was just a few corners away from grabbing P9 and what would have been a decent, consistent drive for him. And it looks like he's going to come with no points because he's run out of fuel. Oh my goodness me.
Wow. That's so cutting for Wesley. If I were him, I would be fuming. Running out of fuel in the last sector there on the last lap. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this race because I certainly have. I have certainly enjoyed this. Watching the battle for the lead mainly, and Heskey definitely my drive of the day. Maybe a bit shaky move on Thomas, but nevertheless it was a really good strategy for him that worked out and gave him the provisional win. Just want to say that we'll get these guys for a podium interview. Before we do that, I'll just say that if you want to see more racing for SRL, we are back tomorrow for the top tiers. It'll be Xbox One F1, the top tier of Xbox One. This was the F2 tier, and then right after that there will be PS4 F1. There will be 7 p.m. for Xbox One and 8:30 p.m. for PS4, all in the UK time zone. But let's get these guys in for what has been a really exciting race. Let's hear your thoughts, Jack.
Well, where do I start? I think it was possibly one of the best races I've witnessed in a long time. Of course, you got to say fair play to Heskey for grabbing that race victory. Of course, the battle Thomas and Kay that I don't think ever ended, did it? I think it started right from lights out to the checkered flag. It was just unbelievable stuff, heart in your mouth stuff to witness. And then as well, you definitely got to mention further back as well the battle, interesting strategy with Beacon. Of course, trying to two-stop just like Heskey did, but it seems to have made it work. It's a fair play to him, and yeah, driver of the day for me. I think I'm going to have to go. It's tough. It's really tough. I hate to do this. I'm going to have to give it two men. I just have to give it to the men that came second and third for their battle. It's just it was unbelievable. They're both for the party now, but the battle between Thomas and OK was absolutely mesmerising. Yeah. I haven't seen battling like that in a long time, and especially on this game, it's fantastic to see. So for me, those are my drivers of the day.
Yeah, since we've already gotten the party, why not hear their own thoughts? We're gonna start with Heskey though first. How do you feel, man? And make sure you include the audio. With that win, tell us your experience from this race, your strategy, battling and pace, and etc.
Well, for starters, I had a poor qualifying. Had to run in lean for half my lap because I ran wide, just about to start my lap, and it invalidated the next two. So I had to abort that, just about cross the line with about half a second left, and then had to do half a lap in lean. I wasn't going to make it round to qualify P8.
Yep, there was, I don't know, maybe we lost Heskey there. Yeah, looks like it. We'll jump next to LK, I believe. Bonjour.
Yep.
How do you feel, man?
Bonjour.
Congrats with the P2.
Well, that was a great race, especially with Thomas. We were battling with the majority of the race, and that was great. Then, well, we both chose the one-stop strategy, ultra soft and soft. I thought that was the best. That was the best one. That was the fastest, but actually, I didn't see ESK coming. I was quite surprised when I saw him when I saw him third. That's when I stopped attacking Thomas. And I don't know if you noticed, but I stayed behind him.
Yeah, we saw you backed off. Jack noticed that.
Because I was thinking if I keep pushing, if I keep trying to overtake him, then that will cost the race for both of us. Because I saw Iski behind us and on super soft, so I stayed behind Thomas, and then I mean the two-stop strategy was the best. Congrats to Iski, really.
All right, Jack. Let's have Thomas thoughts by asking him some questions.
Yeah, hello Thomas. First of all, congratulations on the championship. We should mention that first. Congrats on wrapping that up last time out, and as well, congrats on the P3 today. My question for you is actually going to be a pretty controversial one. What was your thoughts on the battle near the end of the race with Kay, Heskey, and yourself?
Well, the one where I got spun?
Yeah. I didn't want to say it like that, but yeah.
Personally, I think it was stupid, but I have to see his point of view. Yeah, not happy after how the race went before. It was an amazing battle with Kay. And then, yeah, I was side by side with Shamil since turn 1. Left him room on the inside, side by side through the S's even, which you'd think, okay, then he can actually race. and then starts just to chuck one up the inside into the corner, which you can hardly go through by yourself, no matter side by side. So yeah, stupid in my opinion, but what can you do?
Yeah, definitely have to wait to see after the race if anything's done about that. But for the time being, you are currently P3. Let's talk a bit more of a lighter thing. What was your thoughts on the earlier parts of the race, particularly when you had that just brilliant battle? There's another word for it between yourself and Kay. Talk us through what exactly was going through your mind as you went through that battle.
No, it was insane. I loved it. But I couldn't shake him off. Like, I wasn't on the pace. I didn't do enough practice for tonight, so I was always going to be on the back foot. So yeah, he always had the pace on me, so I just battled him hard. Managed to keep him behind for a while, and when he got past, I was able to pass him back again. Yeah, it was amazing. Especially when I kind of Schumacher Barrichello repeat down the pit straight. I was kind of scared.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
how I
that
noticed
was
that.
fun.
I was like, oh my good, that was a bit of an eye opener. I don't want to quite think what was in Kay's driving suit following that move. I can imagine it weren't very nice. But anyway, my last question for you is, of course, about next week's race, which we travel over to. Well, actually, we travel down really. If you think about it geographically, we travel to Mexico. What's your thoughts on the track going into next weekend?
I don't know, to be honest. I rarely race that track. I literally only actually practice for races like the week before, like the night I actually race it. So I haven't actually raced Mexico much at all this game. I'm like 10 laps on it.
All right. Well, thanks very much. And Kahmundo, you got any more questions?
No, not really. I just want to say congrats. That was really entertaining to watch for us. So I'll just round this off now. I already promoted the streams tomorrow, so not much more to say than thank you very much, Jack, for being alongside me tonight. I hope we see you in the future some more times.
Let's hope.
Yeah, and make sure you follow Supreme Model on Twitter if you want to be updated on more racing and all the links and etc. Anyways, that's it for me and Jack and the other guys. So I'll see you next week for Mexico in the F2 division. Bye.